Welcome to the lovely IHP community and the 5D Collective. We're a bunch of securely attached, non-traumatized mystics, spiritual and mindfully living, loving people. We are non-traumatized because our trauma charges, no, we don't have the trauma charges, at least we won't call them that. We have a window, a welcome to affect and to emotional, mental, and physical plane. So we master the usage of the prefrontal cortex as empowered people. So empowerment is when you are not living drama stories, thinking of how to never get fucked with again. Yeah, that is where our shorts began. So when someone's thinking, don't you dare fuck with me, that's called projection. Thank you, Patrick Tan, for being there for those who want to heal their inner child and reparent and become their functional child adults at some point. So once you have no attachment wounds, father, mother, any of that, you don't do let me follow the 3D, 4D crowd with their hissy fits, okay? So when you hear a empowered feminine, here's what I got to tell you. Empowered feminines, don't be looking behind their back to see if you're going to fuck with me. I had this woman come to me as a mystic. I'm a mentor, content creator, podcast host. You also know I'm a Reiki master. I'm an Akashic record reader, tarot, oracle card, all that. Channel guidance, you name it. So when people come to me, while Ursula says, poor unfortunate souls, so sad, but true, that one wanting to be pretty, that one wanting to be boy, do I help them? I don't do, because I'm a personal development, self-help, serious person. So spiritual growth and personal growth comes when you're a psychologically developing human being. So you don't want to bring your child parts to anyone. You don't live your relationship with the past living through you. So you're not emotionally immature, which means that I have to hear about your superhero, supervillain. You also don't ignore that if you're waking up sluggish and you're using drama king queen stories, there's a very straightforward equation. You're actually still, what was it, Ron Siegel? When we bury feelings, we bury them alive. We wind up living with a heart and mind that are filled with landmines, easily triggered when we go through the world. But also, drama kings and queens are addicted to their hypervigilant mode. There's a course that I know of. I bought the book for now, might take the course at some other point. There's also other courses that I have, and there's Dr. Daniel Fox, for example, who talks all about the maladaptive daydreaming of people. So when people are savoring a very low frequency, our fearful brothers and sisters are hypervigilance. They need therapy, they don't want it. So they will, in fact, bury their own emotional immaturity with bullshit stories. They will say, you are just telling people they aren't strong. He crosses this out. Patrick Tan, we talked about this yesterday. Emotionally immature people confuse shutting down for strength. And they will continue to make it sound like those who go to therapy are weak and they won't go. So when I know somebody's waking up sluggish in the morning, I know exactly why when they're telling me about their drama kings and queens, and I wake up and think of who's going to fuck me in the ass. Okay, excuse me. So yeah, that's not funny to me, but they find that it is funny to keep their exiles, firefighters, protectors on a wheelhouse. I don't find it funny. So when empowered woman is in town, it ain't. It's hard work to keep a relationship going. No, not remotely. I'm a teenager version, and I have some throat stuff, so bear with me with the clearing of my throat. Where's Sadhguru first, and then we'll move forward. As he shares, life is not a drama that is happening around you. Life is that fundamental dimension that is you. Yes, so securely attached, non-traumatized people are here because we heal trauma seriously. We don't carry our trauma charge and look for bystanders to take our side. Those are ignorant, adaptive child part people who need to reveal so that they can get out of their losing strategy in their relationships, which is so hard to keep a relationship going. I devote all my life to one human being. And I think, again, as a teenager, I told my girlfriends as they come to me, you know, there's 8 billion people out there, right? Like, you don't need just the one. I mean, I know my teenage boyfriend, and we have stuff that happens, but really, you don't have to. You have no emotions, Maria. No, I have emotions. I'm just not being dramatic, which is why when the fancy lady in her suit, she did it's dangerous to have no emotions. Flashback, teenage mean girls. Wow, but they're not mean, because see, mean is a 11, 12-year-old that is faking it. That's where I come in. I didn't fake to not be vulnerable. I just said, why are you being mean? We're We're human. We have emotions. I'm emotional first, then I'm thought, and I'm an empowered feminine. So at 5D Mystic Land with Maria, mentor, content creator, podcast host, get ready to rumble and roll. What does an empowered female look like? Like this. So teenage boyfriend, I'm learning about death do you part. At the time, monoamory. Today, polyamory. Remember, we have different types of groups, please. And those who are secure, don't say you're not poly enough. And when people don't understand that we do love, it's okay. We don't try to make them. So I've been called whore by comedians, masochist by some person that I said not the healthy self-worth ones. And they said, well, that's hard. And I said, well, you told me you let your parents decide what you would do when you grew up. You're happy, right? And good. So when you meet insecure human beings consistently, you learn how to leave it alone, because unlike those who are insecure martyrs, blamers, and superiors to each other, we don't want to do any of that. Securely attached, non-traumatized, healthy self-worth human beings don't cast characterological distinctions. They don't cast stones. We don't judge. I have opinions, and any of them are actually potentially falsifiable, which is why I'm smart. So when someone says neutrality, so you have no opinion, I just say, no, I just don't get into that charge. I don't do drama. I don't do modulated. My body doesn't need it. So you're emotionless. No, again, fancy lady in her suit. I'm actually enlightening by the minute, healthy by the minute, because I'm non-reactive to idiocy. And I actually do know data, which is why any of my cherishable beliefs, God, I love you. But if I need to agree with, what was it? Determined? Robert Spolsky, come on in. I'm okay with that because I'm part of the smart crowd. I don't surround myself with morons. And when I do have to have morons around, I have learned, thank you God, how to tell you I do judge human suffering. Not as good, not as bad. That would be casting a stone. You're bad, you do drugs. You're bad, you're a lawyer who does drugs. You're bad because you're a, you know what, I'm so sorry, God. I didn't mean to. I know I'm not you. Take me as I am. You're not bad or good. None of my business. You're doing whatever. The law's here. Laws, can you keep us safe? I'm going to keep voting. That's how proactive I am. And when I hear about the gender stuff, yes, it's not about genders. It's trauma people will continue to bury their feelings and bring forth that which is their own transgenerational trauma. So let me give you a couple quotes from our Patrick Tiahan, which is why when I see somebody thinking about getting fucked over, it's a teenager on a wheelhouse, and they get their groups. They love their silverbacks, that's for sure. I don't do. Wendy, I don't follow you. I'm not you or Peter Pan or the Lost Boys, and our IHP community is not going to be any of that. We are, again, a non-traumatized person, whether you're mystic, spiritual, or mindful. Doesn't matter. So you will know secure attachment because you regulate independently of others. When I'm in a room, I know how to differentiate. I asked Dr. Daniel Siegel for additional help with that, and he explained, and I conquered. We cannot demand that our partners help us emotionally regulate while projecting our childhood abusers onto them. So when a person calls out characterological distinctions, when a person starts to chime in like a Cusco, that's a person whose child part came up and is basically playing on a karma wheelhouse because their 0-8-year-old rules them and they don't rule anything. And they will, in fact, not notice that their triggers are not the words or scripts they're talking in their head, but that it is a physiological state. Thank you, Stephen Porges. The minute you don't know how to break free from your childhood trauma, it is because you're not acknowledging this is not something that's straightforward, because it's not only affect or emotions. I have a way that I've protected my 0-1-year-old, my 3 to 7-year-old, and it's coming through my relationship with my significant other. So a person who actually wants to grow a healthy self-worth relationship will not bring their adopted child part into the room. It's not a losing strategy for self-aware, accountable, regulating people, because there ain't no strategy. I don't play along. So when someone will be doing their physiological state since I was a kid, again, I'm going to bring in my teenager. I know my higher self. I didn't get charged. Maria doesn't get charged. People think it's control. No, I'm a master of my emotional plane. There's a difference. I know what's happening in my brain. I remember when I stopped getting fuming through my nostrils with anger because I could tell that my hippocampus was getting saturated with cortisol. Now I know the explanation because I actually got it from smart human beings, and ICABM, they have a great infographic. I will be right back. Give me 1 minute. And when people don't believe in you having interception or the data and think you have a bad relationship, again, with emotions, it's on them, not on me. I can explain to them the data. They don't believe in the data. What I can tell you is when I read the NICABM infographic, I was like, I could tell, because I could tell my brain would get fuzzy. And what I told myself, and here's where your higher self, and you're already downloading, so with that, which is a higher self, angels, guides, even though as a downloader and channeler, what I'm going to tell you is it's very different when I'm bringing themes for the collective of 5D than when I'm having though my own downloads with my higher self, God. Okay, so I use all of it, Anima Mundi. I don't do let me pick it apart, because functional child adults, we like it all, as our brains work really great. It's an integrated brain, and I have a restorative embodied. I'm in the infinite higher human conscious potential experience, sharing with you my stories. This is proof. I can't prove it to you inside. I know that though, if you put mindfulness into practice, it's because you can do mindset skills like I'm explaining, which means you take ownership. You don't pretend to take ownership. So what I was trying to get to is a person who brings in characterological distinctions and is playing a Cusco game is not a person who owns anything. Their 14-month-old still rules them. You'll notice it because they follow assholes in suits who basically do, I'll never get fucked over again. Here's a checklist. Here's what you need to do with a kid. Here they want to give rigid, because rigidity is the indication of you're not bilaterally integrated. Chaos, not bilaterally integrated. So either or, you are not a master of your brain, you're not a master of your mind, you're definitely not a master of yourself, let alone of your body, and you have no idea what intelligence actually means. You can speak all the words you want, child. Keep coming. A grown-up is going to leave it alone, as I'm already in the awareness that you're not common-centered, as I'm a nervous system, and I'm picking up on yours, and I'm common-centered, and I'm not going to get into my hissy fit because I'm not hooked on drama. I'm not going to play some type of hyper-vigilant little hissy fit. This is not sharing time. This is not social time. It's not confusing. You're upset, and your upsetness is not what I want. I'm not going to get into it. So I learned about my hippocampus, again, through NICBM, and I can tell you the explicit memory because I said to myself, if you're going to do what you are planning for college, you can't get all fuzzy, because you're starting to forget things by the minute as you get fuming in your nostrils. And that's it. And I stopped. That's what mindset skills are for, with mindfulness, with an inner growth mindset, which I bring to you. One-to-one mentor, again, masterclass, you sign up. You sign up for workshops, retreats. When we get to the magic numbers, those first workshops, retreats will most likely be digital. We don't know yet, but for the one-to-one mentorship, that's us to decide, and masterclass, a sweet number 2. So side note, in case you're curious about what you can do with me if you're a person who does do spiritual growth and self-help in the way of being a securely attached, non-traumatized person. Okay, so empowered women don't work really hard to do anything, not even empowered men. And I don't know, as a woman, I don't speak for men because they've made me become aware that I should not. And that is where I leave it alone. Do I have things to say? Yes, I do. But at the same time, you know what? I'm a woman. I do understand that my brain works differently. So I will, with respect, allow myself to take a step back and tune into it and then leave it alone. Because when I see gender stereotypes, it is beyond the bejesus of me the most pissiest thing that is alive, because it's people who have adaptive child part people. It's teenagers on a wheelhouse, which is why 3D, 4D ain't going anywhere. So story time, and we're going to continue to wrap it up, trying to. So a person who wants a relationship to work doesn't bring their little pissy pants into the room. They get to notice their maladaptive patterns of behavior, inner outer critic, get out of the superhero, supervillain, and drama queen and king, addiction, whatever it is, and they get out of completely thinking of somebody coming out to get me. Because as long as you're in your modulated, you're using distress. You're using your mind in ways that are completely unnecessary, and really all you're doing is, as Ron Siegel pointed out, it is burying alive something that is those things that you don't want to deal with, because, again, you're not exploring your reactions from your past and the impact they have on those around us, and you're not thinking of it as a messy disaster necessarily, because you think that it's okay to bring out your projection into a room, because that's how ignorant people are, to go into heal their first 3 years of life and allow their 16-year-old, which is an idiot, to rule them. Pretend to be badass. Sure, keep doing it. Keep doing the pretending, and then waking up all drained because you don't know how to navigate your prefrontal cortex yet, because, again, it's a physiological state. So what we enjoy at IHP is knowing that people like Patrick Tiahan help people to break free from generational trauma cycles, because not only does he help childhood trauma survivors to heal, that take care of themselves, I get to say I'm already healed. And I won't have at HP any of those copycats. I've seen bountiful of them. They irritate the fuck out of me. I'm just taught how to be polite, and really my body is the one that rules me, because I'm not going to get into a hissy fit with a 3-year-old, because I'm not a 3-year-old who needs the floor. And I'm not a 16-year-old who wants to waste my time with stupid masculines. It's not men. It's stupid human beings who have an ego like I do. I would tell them, I have an ego, you have an ego. What do you want? My teenage boyfriend, as him and I are arguing about my faith in God, and I'm telling him it's from my bones. So anybody who minimizes my mysticism life, they don't know it. I shut down. You're not going to hear anything about my life from that corner, because you've disrespected it. And I don't need to explain it to you, because you know what you're doing when you're talking over me in your head and making my spiritual experiences and mystical experiences out to be buffoonery. You're the arrogant asshole who doesn't notice that you are speaking over another human being and you don't have faith. I don't need to tell you to have faith. You're not having it. You're not of spirit, which is why when I see spiritual people saying, we're going to prove, what are you going to prove? You're proving shit. Really, you don't make somebody have God here. They have God, Holy Spirit, because that's how it is, and not everybody has to. And as a grounded in reality human being, I know I have secondary human consciousness, which is why I don't need to put down my foot. Again, cherishable beliefs are falsifiable. For grounded in reality means I'm more objective than any of those who think they're objective when they're playing their little pissy pant game with me, because it's a real not fun. I just have fun with it at this point, because excuse me, you're confusing science spirituality. I love learning from smart human beings. I consume content of smart people, and I make fun of the adaptive child part people, because they are buffoons. And they're buffoons to me. And then I thank my brothers and sisters of fear, because I do recognize not everyone will make it. It's not because many will be called and a few will be chosen. No, it's because they ignore going to heal their fucking trauma, which, Patrick Dan, I'm trying my best to get them over to you. They will go to Boca Raton. They will talk shit about therapy. They will talk shit about mystic. They will talk shit about everyone. They will not. Dr. Daniel Fox, what was it? They got fucking mustard on their chin and they won't notice it. So I'm not going to be bringing their messy disaster. There ain't no messy disaster. I'm a securely attached, non-traumatized person. I don't regulate based on another human being body. I just watch Peter Pan, The Lost Boys, and basically Mean Girls on a Wheelhouse alongside Hangover, and I'm the dum-dum. That's how it works when you're a healthy self-worth woman. I'm a teenager. Boyfriend's arguing with me. It's called effective realism that he's got going on. And if you don't like sob stories, please fast forward. His friend killed himself, which is why he was upset at God. Then he got told about how God doesn't exist because of all the evil that happens in the world. And that was exactly how my catechist told me people turn their back on God. And I was like, wow, they're all to a T turning their back on God because life doesn't go the way they want. But they're making it out to seem like Lucifer wins. I don't see Lucifer. I'm 19. I say, hey, God, I see cowards. No Lucifer. Suffering, sure. Cowards, again, yes. A bunch of people lying to 4'9" women. I don't know what to tell you about that one. And what I can tell you is, yeah, there's no Lucifer. So again, we don't demonize our 3D, 4D brothers and sisters of fear. I don't. They're not demons. They're not devils. And there's not the angels either. I don't need to bring in any of that. I can bring in determined. There's securely attached people, non-traumatized ourselves, and then there's the ones who are not. There you go. So a very straightforward equation. Healing trauma seriously means that you're healed. You don't take trauma charge and say, if you fuck me over. When I've had women come to me, and men, but women primarily are the ones who get into the whole, can you tell me more? Can you tell me more? And they come with these equations. I told him, I won't give you this trust. I'm like, why would you tell somebody you won't give them trust? And if you don't trust your gut, then go to therapy. There's a solution for you to find the love of your life, meaning first love yourself. Get out of your 0-8-year-old that has a gaslit child, obviously there, because if you don't know how to choose and pick them, yeah, your bell's off. And that means you have unhealthy self-soothing mechanisms. So it's a very straightforward equation. If they go get it done, they're not going to be whining about life because they know where it is at. And they won't be talking about their trauma as it needing to justify anything. So people who say, how dare you trauma dump on me? That's a person who isn't healing. That's just another asshole with another group who decided that they're more special. Mean girls, it's very obvious. They don't have to be girls. They can be mean boys. Again, I don't relate to boys that way, though. I just tell them how it is because I got taught by my boyfriends, men friends, that I don't speak well. I'll keep repeating myself. And then that I'm an evil bitch and an evil witch and I'm a cocky asshole. Sure, whatever. As long as you get the picture, I'm okay with that. Luckily for me, my gut also knows when I'm in physical potential danger, and I do it this way because it's ding, 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 off. Ciao, see you later, alligator, or not. I just won't be in the presence of you ever again because I won't involve you in it. Don't you know what liars are? Again, 11, 12-year-olds, they're all liars, backstabbers, cowards, et tu, Brute. I don't need immature people to know what's going on within me because any immature person will use your words, quote unquote, against you once you're mature enough. You know they're not using your words against you. And actually, as a mystic, it's really fun to notice when your own words are used with you. Oh, I love it. This thing happened to me once. I was like, nah, that makes sense. Because an empowered feminine knows who all of our oversoul is. I told you about that one yesterday. Now, we don't know everything, even though I did say we know everything, because intuitively we know everything, but we don't know everything, like the story and how to play out, okay? That part, though, we don't care about because God's always good. So, again, breaking generational trauma cycles, you tell the truth about the family versus protecting or enabling. And then we have you value healthy expression of emotions versus going inward or reacting or suppressing and ignoring. I'm adding a little bit. 3, protect children from unhealthy shame. Yes, we don't ask them punishing questions like little soldiers, and we make fun of the ones who are assholes because that's how it's going to work here. They don't actually do anything to break the generational trauma. But 3D, 4D brothers and sisters of fear will continue to exist with their silverbacks. So we can watch from afar as Wendy's, Peter Pan's, Pinocchios continue to hang out. They won't want to hang out with us. Our ventral energy is because it's very boring to have securely attached people. Again, remember, a healthy self-worth, empowered woman, what I can tell you is you don't need to get rid of anyone because they will all fall away if they're hooked on drama. Because a hyper-vigilant, hooked on drama human being only wants to relive their first 0 8-year-olds on a wheelhouse, and it's uninteresting. They're not high intelligence, they're low intelligence. And even when they are on the high intelligence scales, they're not intelligence. They're a 3-year-old who has trauma with a 16-year-old who thinks they know everything, which is like, I'm never going to get fucked with again, is the most idiotic sentence you could ever say as you're growing up as a woman or a man. How old are you? And you don't obviously know how to use your own brain to notice, wow, I doubt my own compass. Or, wow, you know what? Why am I going on dates if I'm actually so afraid of human beings? And, oh, I have a group, though. Look at me. Oh, I haven't. So the charges, the 4th step to healing trauma charges is people take bystanders. So they all come in, again, like the coward teenagers I saw. And like those groups, they stay divisive, which is why it's not a wow. No, people will stay divisive. And we'll have our drama kings and queens over there, all in their little different isolated groups. And then we'll be having a good time over here as empowered people who have passionate interactions, because we have full passion. The difference is we don't do low frequency. Other than that, on the external, it'll look the same, but it won't because we know the difference. Who's we? Securely attached, non-traumatized person with integrated brain will know when we're in the presence of a Cusco because they're not curious, open, accepting, or loving. They try to dismantle your conversation, lead you down a trail. Thanks, Terry. It's not a losing strategy because it'll be a 3-year-old who's trying to share their thoughts in a way that a 16-year-old will do with a physiological state, which is nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with whatever happened to you as you're grown up. And your effective realism seeps through like anything because your thoughts and feelings are not fact, and I know it. And you trying to twist it to make it look like I'm speaking facts will be, no, I have opinions, and they're potentially falsifiable. Stupid? Sure. I'm grounded in reality, but you can call it stupid. I don't need to actually make a statement. I got an empowered ego, empowered Maria, empowerment. I don't have to work hard. I just said it. So you have no opinion. You're not a leader. You're not this. You're not that. Yeah, not any of it. I actually just have the name. The name's Maria. That's it. So a physiological state of a person who's aware that that's their past and that's their trauma is not going to want to keep doing that because it's really small for them. And they're going to notice how it keeps them small. And here is where taking risks to become authentic risks versus staying buried in the family narratives, or staying miserable and in a small energy of thinking misery or, extremes, perfectionism are what are. 5, reclaiming joy versus believing that being perfect or miserable is all there is. Okay, so people want to break away from generational trauma, have plenty of solutions. People don't want to do it, they won't do it. And again, they won't be really growing any kind of securely attached, healthy relationship because they're not healthy. They're compass is still off, and then they will bring their emotionally immature mannerisms, so they won't be self-regulating. They won't be seeking to self-regulate with a healthy partner. The wounded inner child will also not give up on an unhealthy relationship. So for me, my teenage boyfriend, when I think of sharing those stories, I can tell you that we worked until it didn't work. And that which I learned from him, I learned from other people, men, women, the cowards. So adaptive child part people to me are fake. That's it. I've learned how they will always be fake because their pause distorted self has a story for them. And they don't notice that their emotional immaturity carries on with them. And so it's not good or bad. It is actually a choice if people want to become empowered. Here at HP, we are empowered. I'm self-empowered, enlightening by the minute. You can do it too. And mindfulness practices with mindset skills support you to create more of that resiliency. And the mindset skills with the inner growth mindset. When people say you have to have gone through hell and back, we go through plenty of things as our emotional body window of tolerance for affect grows, which is why when I said I'm imperfect too in a couple of episodes yesterday, it's not because child parts are imperfect. See, this is the part of neutrality and duality. No part of us, humanly speaking, is flawed or imperfect, but I will use different words and people can take it out of context, and I know that. And this is the one thing I'm bringing in is the human element. Nothing about being a human is needing to be cast with a stone or a charge. A functional child adult will be nuanced and thoughtful and know how trauma impacts relationships. Thank you, Terry. I know that a 0-1-year-old doesn't choose to have unhealthy self-soothing mechanisms. The 3-7 doesn't choose to be fear-mongered, and the 0-8 is a codependent, and they didn't choose to be raised by people who think they should know how to feel or not feel or whatever and yell at them and treat them like little fucking soldiers and don't realize how awful that is to watch, and consistently know that there are those who will not break away from the generational trauma, like that fancy lady in her suit. It's dangerous to have no emotions. It's not inherently healthy or enlightening to be non-reactive. Yes, it is. You just don't want it, which is okay. You don't have to have it. Stay modulated. Stay in your hissy fit. The imprisonment that you're talking about with therapists is simply you wanting to stay in your hypervigilant attitude. Stay with it. The stress, do your thing, but don't come, and talk to those who are loving as if we are actually faking it. So people who fake it, for those who are integrated brains, whole selves, are the ones who are not. They're functional child adults, the ones who are I'm going to keep projecting my adaptive child part and think I'll never be fucked with again. Drama kings, drama queens, have a good time. So I see plenty of them having still, as they get older, a good time. Your 12 to 24, 5-year-old is your adolescent brain. That has a specific biochemistry, specific things that play out. If you're a higher self of you, you don't get hooked on drugs. You don't get hooked on fucking. You don't get hooked on inner outer critic. You don't get hooked on any of that, which is drinking. You don't get hooked on lower frequency because you own yourself. And that's the difference with those of us who had a body that was able to handle ventral vagal state or be in it. Thanks, Stephen Porges. So physiological state, and then a higher self that stayed online and didn't exile the 11, 12-year-old or 13, 14, 15, 16 and hide shit away and then play some hissy fit. So by the time I'm 19, I'm like, hey, God. So I stay cowards, no Lucifer. 25, say the same thing. 30, I'm pretty much at that point in my lovely mystic plane, and I can tell you, when you meet masculines, they're the same as distorted feminines. They don't really play a role except for you continue to expand as a piece of consciousness if you're an empowered feminine or an empowered masculine. So you keep becoming more of yourself. You don't change because you got a whole self. Those who feel changed, it's because they will have finally gotten to see, oh, look, here's my pause self. Okay, that comes from my childhood. And every time it comes up, I'm going to, with self-awareness, accountability, and regulation, and self-compassion, know that I didn't do, my child parts are imperfect because they did something bad. It's that we all will have personality patterns, temperament, and an attachment security. And so I'm going to self-regulate, safe haven, secure base. I'm going to come in like a functional child adult. Thank you, Terrio. So I know my affect came up, my biases, whatever. I'm going to continue exchanging. That's empowered women, men, theys together, which is why we grow a team at IHP all. Because passion continues to pour through every inch of you. It's not drama. And it's not with backstabbers or liars and low-frequency, ignorant human beings, who, by the way, are uninteresting too. An intellectually interested brain, those people who argue with basically cockfights and vagina fights, completely uninteresting. Never seen a medium ever. Sure, you haven't. I'll still learn from you, but you're an idiot because you don't know mediums and you are not obviously spiritual. And yeah, your sciences. You sciences have not disproven God, faith, or anything. So even in creating empirical mysticism, even in creating science and spirituality and bringing it together, you won't dismantle that which is a feeling for those of us of faith. Like the teenage boyfriend, I said, I feel it in my bones. And he's like, no, you're just afraid. No, I feel it in my bones. So somebody who wants to tell you're a liar about your faith, it's not provable. You don't try. Somebody who's in science who tells me they know everything, I know they're a liar because 97% of what is out there isn't available for all of them to observe. So I know you are one of those. And we all learn from each other. So we continue to empower each other with intelligence, emotional, mental, and physical mastery. That's what we got here. Tune on in, like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.